Good morning. It seems we have a bit of chirp fever. Join us live outside Schumann Football Stadium for an update on your homecoming events, plus what kind of weather we predict for all those festivities.
Plus, Hurricane Ian is still making an impact in Florida, but it might not be the one you're thinking. Get the coffee ready and open up those eyes. You're waking.
From Ball State Unified Media, you're waking up with Cardinal weather, live from the Ball State Weather Center.
Good Friday morning to you. You're waking up with Cardinal weather. I'm Alex Almanza.
And I'm Grace Benkowski. Happy homecoming week. We have a fun-filled show for you today. Moving into homecoming weekend, we have a breakdown of the events happening today and tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. Our assistant news director, Anna Chalker, and chief weather forecaster, Hope Gleish, are live outside Schumann Stadium to break down the events. Hey, guys.
Good Friday morning to you, Alex and Grace. We're standing outside Schumann Stadium where the big game is getting underway. I know we got till tomorrow, but we got the players already coming in, but they're not the only students going to be competing today. We have bed races. They have been a tradition here since 1980. It'll take place today on Riverside Avenue, right outside the Health Professions Building. And 20 teams will be competing, and these teams consist of about 5 people. 4 people will be pushing the bed, and then you got that star player that'll be on top of the bed leading the way. They will compete with another team at the same time for a 100-yard course. The winner of each division will get a plaque, and then if they got the best costume, they even get an extra award. They'll get a trophy on top of that. And it's going to be a pretty windy day for that. It's going to be a perfect temperature-wise, though.
Yeah, for sure. You know, all of these warm temperatures we've been talking all week, they're finally on their way. They're going to be making their way into the area today. Around noon time for those bed races, we're expecting temperatures to be in the upper 50s, even lower 60s. Mentioned those breezy conditions, all of this warm air is fueling these warm temperatures, and so we could see some wind gusts around 20-25 miles per hour. So if you're headed to the bed races, be sure to take into account they want to factor in those winds. But tomorrow we're going to also be seeing those warm temperatures, and I know we have a lot of activities going on throughout the day tomorrow as well for homecoming.
And let's hope that that wind helps those beds push them a little more. And tomorrow, you're right, we got a lot of events going on, and it's going to be an early morning. It starts at 8:45 with the Chase Charlie. That's going to be starting at Muncie City Hall, and it's going all the way to Emmons Auditorium. And you can still run if you want to. If you're like, listen, I'm ready to get up at 8:45 in the morning. No, I am not ready for that. You can head over to Emmons at 7 o'clock and sign in. That'll end until about 8:25. And then a bus will arrive to shuttle you to City Hall for the time of the race. And then once you finish, you get to take a break and watch a parade. That parade will be starting at Muncie Central High School. We have a map of the route now that you can see. It's going to be showing where these people are going to be going. And then after the parade, we're going to keep going a little bit more because there's still so much fun to get to. The biggest part is the tailgating. Everyone's so excited. I know last year it was freezing, and now it's like it's going to be perfect, and we're going to be standing right outside the Alumni Center, even in the parking lot behind us. And gates will be opening at noon at Charlietown. There will be food trucks, outdoor games, and entertainment, and you get to hang out with your friends and family, and definitely people coming back for homecoming. It's going to be great. Now, you said it's going to be perfect weather for that.
Yeah, and I guess the football gods are on our side because 70-degree temperatures are on the way. They're here to stay for quite some time. Tomorrow for the Chase Charlie 5K and the parade, you know, a little bit on the cooler side, around 52 degrees. Of course, those winds are still a factor, but not terrible. I mean, if I wanted to run, I'd definitely do 52-degree weather. And then come around our tailgate time noon when Charlietown opens up, we'll be in the upper 60s, so 66 degrees is expected for our noontime hour. Again, those winds are on the breezy side, so if you have those pop-up tents, you'll definitely want to tie those down so they don't blow away. And come around the noon for 2 p.m. for the kickoff for the Cardinals. We're expecting temperatures to be in the lower 70s, around 73 degrees, so perfect for to go to the ball caps, mostly throughout the day, and again, hold to because those breezy conditions will stay around throughout the game time.
Hopefully bring your school spirit, also bring a jacket. That we're good as well, and hopefully the football gods are with us to get that win. We'll be talking a little later with John Kleemeyer and Andy Newman about that going on later on in the show, and they'll be giving a breakdown about the game and what the players are feeling. And we had a chilly week, but a lot of outdoor events for homecoming, and we know you guys have a recap coming up, so let's go ahead and send it back to you guys at the desk with a recap.
All right, less than 24 hours are away. All right, Anna Chalker and Hope Kleisch live outside Schumann Stadium. Guys, thank you so much. Now, with the like they say, those events are coming, but let's break down what happened this week on and off campus. Starting Monday, there was the Village Food Truck Festival. Take a look at that. The festival had 5 different food trucks there for people all over to choose from. And not only did they have food trucks, they also had music and other activities.
Yeah, on Tuesday there was the 3rd annual talent search. The winner in each category got a $500 scholarship from the university. Up to 5 semifinalists were selected. And when you're talking about food, there's nothing like a home-cooked meal. On Wednesday, North Dining held a campus dinner with a tribute to the 70s. They had Salisbury steak, chicken strips, vegan casserole, plus sides, and even a dessert.
And taking it back, one of the most popular events was Thursday, happening since 1987. Ball State's Air Jam. 20 student organizations came out to compete by lip-syncing and dancing. Of course, congrats to our university singers for winning this year's Air Jam. Now, with the big game on Saturday, another big change in temps. Ryan Crump has a look at the weather.
You're so correct there, Alex. It's going to be a huge turn in visit temperatures. Earlier this week, we were seeing temperatures struggling to get out of the 40s. Now we're going to be seeing temperatures close to 80 degrees. More on that on my full forecast a little bit later. But look at these current temperatures right now. At 44 degrees in Indianapolis, 48 in Muncie, 42 degrees in Kokomo. That's a lot warmer than what we have been seeing, especially for 24 hours ago, when we're seeing temperatures pretty much 10 to 15 degrees, even close to 20 degrees warmer than we were at this time yesterday. And you see that's due to these southwest winds that's bringing that warmer air into our area. And that's going to continue to pick up as we go throughout the day. Now, these next 12 hours, you're going to see the temperatures are going to be pretty much in the lower 70s. It might even get a little bit higher than 71 degrees. Have more of that and the warm temperatures on my full forecast coming up. Back to you all at the desk.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Now, just ahead, flu season is coming, and we have the latest on getting vaccinated.
And that's after your weather now. Welcome back. The current time is 8:08, and you're taking a live look outside at the Cooper Science Building. Really beautiful day.
Yeah, it's looking good out there. Before we talk a little bit about weather, we're going to go into some health news. Some U.S. minority groups are more likely to be hospitalized for the flu and less likely to be vaccinated. That's according to a new report from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on the dangers of the flu and what some believe needs to be done to break down barriers to vaccination.
Flu season is here with high levels of the illness already reported in Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Washington, D.C., and New York City, according to the CDC.
The vaccine, however, can help prevent severe disease, may help prevent the flu in general.
A new report from the CDC shows flu shot uptake since the 2010-2011 season has been consistently lower among Black and Hispanic adults when compared to white adults. People in those groups were more likely to be hospitalized with flu during most seasons studied. According to the data from 2009 to 2022, flu hospitalizations were 80% higher among Black adults, 30% higher for adults who are American Indian or Alaskan Native, and 20% higher for Hispanic adults.
We're talking about things like having to be hospitalized because you can't breathe, your shortness of breath is severe, your headaches are out of control, your fever is really, really high to the point that we worry that is going to cause potentially neurological damage.
The CDC says reasons for the disparities include lack of healthcare access and insurance, misinformation and distrust in vaccines, and missed opportunities to get vaccinated. Dr. Barbara Bauer with Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center says more needs to be done to improve access and erase vaccine stigma.
It's educating people on why we give it, educating and showing them potentially data on, how it can improve their chances.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
The CDC says some racial and ethnic groups also have higher rates of chronic conditions that could also make them more vulnerable to the flu. The agency says it has started programs specifically targeting certain racial and ethnic groups, hoping to raise awareness on the importance of vaccines. The first class will not exist. That's what American Airlines execs have decided. The company is dropping its first class cabins and replacing them with more business class seats. The move was announced yesterday in response to customer demand, with the company's chief commercial officer saying more business class seats is, quote, what the customers most want and are most willing to pay for.
Hurricane Ian is proving to be a costly disaster. More than $1 billion in federal support has been provided to Florida and residents affected by the storm. Now, according to FEMA, $545 million has gone to households and $302 million to the state. Some of the ways the federal funding is helping Floridians recover consist of nearly 6,000 free roofs through Operation Blue Roof, providing disaster unemployment assistance, and covering hotel stays for those who need it. Also, the U.S. Small Business Administration has provided $130 million in disaster loans to employers, and the National Flood Insurance Program has paid out $98 million to at least 40,000 people who filed flood insurance claims. Now, very tragic. We wish the best to Florida. Now, Jack, what does it look like across the U.S.?
Yeah, waking up this morning across the nation, actually, it's going to be great fall temperatures. It's actually a very interesting thing. Our warm temperatures here is going to be Los Angeles and Las Vegas at 67 and 64. But we look over here at New York, and it's only going to be 46 degrees. So we're only talking a 20-degree temperature change around the nation. And you know why? That's due to this warm upwelling of southerly air coming from the south and kind of balancing out the nation. Now, we won't be seeing that today in our high temperatures. As you can see, our high spot on the map is going to be Dallas here at 89 degrees. But this morning, it's kind of interesting to see because you usually do not see those temperatures kind of equal out like that as well. Going to be 50 degrees in Seattle, and then over here in Cincinnati, we're going to have a high of 69 degrees. Now, yesterday, NOAA issued out their winter 2022-2023 outlooks. So let's go ahead and take a look at those and see what they mean. So this is for our temperature outlook, and the main reason, or the main driving force between this is La Nina conditions. And this means that the Pacific Ocean is going to be actually quite cool, and what that'll do is it'll force the jet stream down. So we're actually going to be seeing these cooler temperatures up north and then these warmer temperatures down south. The only concerning thing is this is the third year in a row we've seen La Nina conditions. You only usually see a year of it or 2 years, usually at most. But this year, actually, we're seeing 3 years of this again. And again, as you can see, we're going to have these warmer temperatures on the East Coast there going quite north. So that's a little concerning, actually. Looking at a precipitation outlook as well, we're going to be wetter in the northwest here, but drier where we really need it down south because they are dealing with quite a bit of drought as well. Looking at our current watches and warnings, the big one right here is out here in Idaho and Montana. It's actually a winter storm watch. Usually don't see those all that much, and that's due to the system that'll be moving through this coming weekend. But overall, the nation's going to be quite calm today in terms of precipitation of that sorts. But are you guys excited for the potential of getting more snow here this winter?
Not the idea of potentially getting those snow shovels out a little earlier than usual. Not excited for that.
Yeah.
That's fair. I love snow personally, so I say bring it on, but I totally get the other argument, though.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. All right. Hey, thank you so much. Now, one of nature's most anticipated light shows is set to climax this afternoon. It's happening just as space debris and dust trails from the famous comet Halley scatter across the night sky. But you need to hurry, that is, if you want to get the best view. The Orionids meteor shower is expected to peak at 2 p.m. Eastern today. You won't need any special equipment for this one, and of course, NASA suggests looking anywhere in the night sky that is away from the moon to best observe the fireballs. Now, they'll be visible from every region in the world, weather permitting, of course. Now, NASA also recommends going outside at least 30 minutes prior to watching meteors to adjust to the night sky. Now, that meteor shower officially began on September 26th. It'll last around November 22nd, so sky watchers will still have a chance to see the Orionids after the peak. Now, after the break, we're breaking down the game for tomorrow.
And that's after a message with Mitts.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, Mitts will take you there.
Welcome back to Cardinal Weather. I'm John Kleemeyer.
And I'm Andy Newman, here to break down this weekend's big matchup, Ball State versus Eastern Michigan in homecoming football.
Yeah, these Cardinals are coming back from 3 straight comeback victories.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah, against UConn, Central Michigan, NIU, and Eastern Michigan is coming off a 39-10 loss.
Yeah, and that UConn game this past weekend, thankfully I was able to get out there. Crazy stuff going on in the fourth quarter.
Game.
Hopefully we don't have to do that here this weekend.
Yeah, Ball State is currently 2-1 in conference play, while Eastern Michigan is 1-2. So they're really trying to fight for a MAC win as we get closer to the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely need to pick up a MAC win for either of these teams here soon. And obviously, Ball State 3-1 at home and Eastern Michigan 2-1 on the road. So we'll see how that matchup kind of clashes there.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be very interesting because both teams are obviously fighting for a win here. And, you know, Ball State has done really good at home, Eastern Michigan good on the road. Let's see how it ends up.
Agreed, yeah. And now that we've taken a look at the matchup so far for homecoming, let's take a look at what the Cardinals are doing so far on offense this season. The offense with starting quarterback John Paddock and Carson Steele winning the MAC West Offensive Player of the Week 3 weeks in a row consecutively. Obviously, those guys really, really doing well. And John Paddock coming into his own as the starting quarterback this year after backing up Drew Plitt for so long.
Yeah, there were a lot of questions on how John Paddock was going to fit into the team. And I think he's done very well so far. And I think one of the reasons is because of the 2 starting tight ends that he has to work with Brady Hunt and Tanner Koziel.
Yeah.
They both have over 20 receptions.
Yes.
Both have over 220 yards and 8 total touchdowns with them combined.
Yeah.
So I think that's really part of his game.
Yeah, and Brady Hunt as well used to play quarterback.
Yeah.
He went to Delta High School and is now one of the greatest starting tight ends that we have on the team. So great stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but now let's take a look at the crown jewel of the offense, Carson Steele. And I also saw Carson. It is his birthday today, so happy birthday to
Carson.
Man, Carson Steele.
Yeah, Carson Steele, crazy numbers that he's putting up here this year so far. He is 7th in the FBS in rushing yards. That is insane. That includes Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, all those SEC schools that are big, known for that kind of stuff. He's 7th in the nation, 10th in yards per game, and tied 15th in rushing touchdowns. Crazy stuff from Carson Steele.
I think the big thing with Carson is he's so athletic when he runs. He could run over a person, he could hurdle a person, he could move around a person. That's what makes him so dynamic.
Yeah, and this offense has had to come back a lot of times in games this year as of late. Let's see what Carson Steele has to say about the mentality going into the games like that.
Like Coach New said, it's kind of like a family thing. We come close, we come together, just more than football. We're always there to help each other. So, if we're getting down or getting beat up on, we rally ourselves and don't let it mentally get to our heads, that we're losing and don't have defeat on our face. That really helps us start drives up and really come back and win games.
Now that we've taken a look at the offense, let's see what the other side of the ball has done so far this season.
Yeah, and when you look at these stats up here on the screen, not some of the most impressive stats you've ever seen before in your life, but I think that Ball State defense passes one of the coveted things that you need to have in football, I think that's the eye test. And they get it done when it matters.
I think they really come out in the second half and they play very well. You know, the first half sometimes it's shaky here or there, but I think the second half is really where they shine. The comeback victories, you know, they deserve some of that credit too.
Yeah.
It's not just the offense.
Yeah.
You do have to score to obviously come back in those games, but the defense has forced turnovers and they played well.
Yeah, they held UConn to 0 points this last game, and so hopefully they'll be doing something like that for the whole game this next time. But one of Ball State's biggest performers on the defensive side of the ball in last week's game was sophomore Jordan Riley, totaling 14 tackles and 1 forced fumble. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, he makes really athletic plays while in the air.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have an interception yet on the season, but I think as we move forward, as the season progresses, if he's eventually going to get one of those interceptions, he's got hands on a lot of balls this season. So I think Jordan is a really good piece in that secondary.
Yeah, definitely. So he has 50 tackles so far in the year and 7 pass breakups. So we'll see, hopefully, if he grabs that interception coming up here soon. And then, John?
Even though this team may be young, Riley thinks that they have high expectations on where they can end up.
I feel like we're a championship team. I mean, I came into the season thinking we're a championship team. The games at the beginning of the season were the games at the beginning of the season. We're not worried about them. It's one at a time. Right now, we're 0-0 again, ready for next week.
So, as far as this game, Andy, what are your key thoughts looking forward?
Hopefully we have just kind of a synergy this next game here. I think we've had different pieces fire off in a bunch of different games, but it hasn't been 60 minutes, every person, every side of the ball coming together and coming into one game. So hopefully everything kind of just wraps up and does well.
Yeah, it's going to be a good MAC matchup tomorrow, too, at the Shoe.
That's all for us in sports. Let's send it over to Ryan with another look at your full forecast.
Yes, thank you, guys. It's going to be much warmer for that games for tomorrow. You're going to see temperatures close to 80 degrees, but more on that in just a few moments. As you see, winds are also going to be an issue here with us. We're also going to be dealing with the abundance of sunshine. And like I said, we are going to be dealing with those 80-degree temperatures as well. Now, temperatures right now, we're going to see it's about 44 degrees in Indianapolis, 48 degrees in Muncie, 42 degrees in Kokomo, and Lafayette is sitting at 45 degrees at this hour, and that's due to these winds that 24 hours ago, pardon me, where we were seeing temperatures I was like in the 20s, even low 30s at times. Now we're seeing temperatures 10 to 15 degrees warmer, even close to 20 degrees warmer in most areas, and that's due to these southwest winds that are coming up in the area. They're going to become more gusty as we go throughout the day. So keep that in mind as we go through the day. Let's time that out for you. We're going to see those wind gusts are going to be 10 to 15 miles an hour as we go, or 20 miles an hour at times. You're going to see some gusting even close to even 30 miles an hour in some of these areas. So make sure you keep your hat on so it doesn't blow off, guys. But also, you're going to see that as well throughout the game tomorrow. So that could be a factor when you're kicking field goals as well. And you're going to see that those winds are going to continue to be like that throughout the majority of the weekend. Now, for today, those temperatures will be like 46 degrees to start of the day. It's going to be mostly cloudy as we start out the day. But we're going to see those temperatures warm up to 73 degrees, a big difference from what we have seen compared to these last few days. Now, 52 degrees is going to be our low temperature for tonight. Mostly clear skies. South winds at 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts as high as 25 miles an hour. Now, I was just talking about those temperatures compared to last week. Last week, we were struggling to see temperatures get out of the 50s. Now we're going to see temperatures that could be at 80 degrees. 80 degrees, guys. This is a huge turn of events. If that possibly happens, we could see temperatures haven't seen that since September the 21st. And it gets better as we go throughout the weekend. 80 degrees on Sunday and 80 on Monday. Then we start to drop down. And Wednesday will be the last day that we see temperatures this warm because a cold front is going to be coming to the area. And it's going to drop those temperatures right back down after Wednesday. You're going to see that here on my 7-day forecast here. As you see, yes, actually 80 degrees. Yes, 80 degrees tomorrow and Sunday. And we're going to be at 79 on Monday. Don't be surprised if we see an 80-degree temperature there on Monday as well. But then we begin to drop down back to the lower 60s as we go through Tuesday and Wednesday into Thursday. And you see those temperatures are going to be back into the lower to mid 60s. Yes, I'm excited for homecoming weekend. I hope you are too. We do have to worry about the wind too because it's going to be quite windy out there as well.
Yeah, and a stark contrast to what we've seen. All right, Ryan, thanks so much.
In just a moment, the top Halloween costumes are in.
That's after your weather now.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
We'll talk about a time warp. Halloween is only 12 days away, and as people prepare for costumes for trick-or-treating and to pass out candy, Ball State is taking a twist to this tradition. The Rocky Horror Shadowcast performs their rendition of the musical in Emmons Auditorium on Halloween night. Now, the club has performed the quirky musical since 2009. Assistant Director Lauren Reich gives us an inside look at what this show really is and how they work to involve students of all ages.
We hold auditions every year for a Rocky Horror Picture Show, and anyone from freshman to grad can audition. We don't require any theater experience, so all is welcome in that aspect.
Now, the show will be at 10:30 p.m. You must be 18 years or older to attend. Of course, for more information, contact rockyhorror@bsu.edu, something you don't want to miss.
And in case you're going to the Rocky Horror Show, you can go in costume. If you're still looking to choose, superheroes and mythical beings will apparently be the must-have costumes this year. Google Trend listed the top 19 Halloween costumes of 2022. Taking the #1 spot was the Witch, followed by Spider-Man, fairies, and vampires were also popular, among with Batman, who came in at 19. Characters who found renewed interest on network and streaming shows who also got attention, including those from Stranger Things, Hocus Pocus, and Chucky. Google Trends used its, quote, Frightgeist tool to create the list, analyzing the most searched costume ideas nationwide.
Now, a Virginia woman is making sure the kids in her community celebrate Halloween in a whimsical way. Noah Harrison reports.
Started as a COVID-19 pandemic project,
I started what I call extreme crafting in order to survive COVID.
Now it's the perfect mix of spooky, silly, and so much fun.
I just hope it brings them joy and fun, and Lord knows we need more of that in our lives.
The whimsically witchy display combines Camille Dirkscheide's lifelong passions.
Music and art has always been a really important part of my life. All through my elementary, junior high, high school, and college years.
And her desire for art to impact kids. Now her earnings benefit McSwain Elementary School's art and music programs.
In the wake of the pandemic, where everyone has suffered in some way, and especially children, I think that we need to support art and music more than ever, and the creative arts to help children to express themselves.
Creativity is something Dirkscheide does not lack, as she's made most of the display pieces herself through basic household items.
The heads of the witches are made out of recycled vinegar bottles. I use chicken wire and PVC and just normal things like pool noodles for the arms.
It's a display that'll bring a smile to the most whimsical witch or ghostly goblin.
Jumping into our next holiday, a classic bread brand will be in the spotlight this Thanksgiving thanks to an iconic holiday parade. Wonder Bread has entered this year's Macy Thanksgiving Day Parade with this float. It is a first-time entry for the 101-year-old bread maker. The float is called the Wonder Ship, and it features the brand's signature colors you see there, red, yellow, and blue. The company says it went with this design to honor the moment its founders witnessed a hot air balloon race, giving him the inspiration for the brand name. Now, how cool is that? Learn some history with that float.
Yeah, a little bit of an inspiration there.
Yeah. Now, segment, we're highlighting a pet who's looking for a loving home.
Yeah, that's right. Our first ever feline this season might be just the paw for you. Meet Mariah. She's about 3 years old. And while a shy, sweet girl who takes a little bit of time to warm up, she'll do just fine in a home with no small children. Now, she loves a low-energy home where she can spend her days laying in a windowsill or a lap. Of course, if you're interested in making Mariah a part of your family, just head on over to the MACS website at cityofmuncie.org. newslinkIndiana.com. Now, it might have been a cold week to walk the dog, but it's looking good because this weekend we'll be able to bring those furry friends to homecoming.
Yes, you will. You will be able to bring them because you don't have to worry about covering them up either.
Nope.
Because we're going to be much warmer than we were at this time last week and even earlier this week when we seen temperatures struggle to get out of the 40s. Now you can see this 80 degrees Saturday and Sunday. Yes, 80 degrees. If that happens, it could be possibly like that since September the 21st. But it does drop back down later on this week to the 60s Wednesday and Thursday.
Call that a homecoming miracle.
I'll take it, though. I'll take it.
Definitely. Well, that is all for Cardinal Weather this Friday morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
And we'll see you next Friday. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Waking Up with Cardinal Weather. And tune into Newslink Indiana at 12 today for our special bed race coverage on our Facebook page. Of course, have a great rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend.